Hi, this is Tanya, and I'm going to show you a little bit about 3D printing and the settings you should go on. Okay, here's a 3D printer right here, and to turn it on, it's on the side. You just flip the switch up, and right here are some settings that you're going to see. And also for your print material, you want to make sure when you get your material, you get this hazard to make sure that your fulfillment is the right size for your printer. Make sure when they package your stuff, if you always get this. If you don't get that, you need to let them know that it didn't come in your shipment. Okay, you're always supposed to get one of these. Okay, we're gonna push this button and we're gonna go to prepare, and then we're gonna make sure that the axis is okay. And when you move the axis, you can see it actually. And you can tell it's moving. I'm gonna leave mine at none, but you can set that. I keep putting it at, well, I'm gonna leave it at zero point 0.1. But you go all the way down and you set them as you want. I'm just gonna put mine at 0.1 on all of them. And then you just move this back up here. And that's on that 0.1. And you make sure that all your settings are just exactly how you want them. Okay? If it's not how you want them, then oh, that's negative. Okay, plus one. Okay, remember it's a negative and it's a positive. So always make sure that you have that positive, not negative. Um, no, that's even worse. It makes it worse. But if you can't see it, so sorry, but I'm trying to get it where it's focused where you can see it. Okay. Then you want to go back up here. And after you get finished with the last one, which is extruder, then you want to come on out and you want to do auto home. And when you do auto home, it's supposed to go to auto home. Okay, now when it says the home failed, auto reset, you're gonna want to turn it off. And you're gonna want it to cool down a little bit and wait for a second or two. And then you're gonna want to turn it back on. And when it does that, then you might want to call also um, and make sure that everything is okay with your 3D printer because it's not supposed to go like that. It's supposed to go all the way to auto home. So we're going to do auto home again. And it's supposed to go to auto home. And again, mine did to a halt. So I have to call and see what's going on with this. Always when I go on camera, something always fails with my fingers. Like someone's been touching it. Oh, okay, now it's going on auto home. Okay. Oh, shit. That means it's one of the settings is a little bit off then. And it does that. That happened before somebody messed with this and all my settings were messed up. Okay, so when you do that, you want to go to set home offset and see what it says. And it'll say home XYZ first. So that means that you have to set your XYZ first. So what I usually do is disable the steppers and I leave the preheat plasma and the preheat ABS alone. And then I go to main, and then I go to controls, and I don't go to temperature yet. I go to motion. Okay. And here are the steppers down here. But we're going to go a little bit at a time and start with this one right here. And this is the XYZ that we have to set. Mine is so off. Mine is set at 100. And that's because I had something that I was doing an Easter basket or something. So I'm going to set it like at 19. Set this one at 19. They all do not have to match. And that's because you have to know what point X, Y, and like, wait a minute, X, Y, Z, and E. So It depends on, but I always set mine all at the same level. And the reason why that I do that, because I want all my corners to be the same, because I make blocks and wands and stuff like that. So I have all my corners the same. And then the VMIN you want to set also. I'm gonna set those on 25. Set both of them on 25. Okay, and they were all set at 100 at one time. Okay, the acceleration was on 200. I'm gonna set that down to 100 on all of it. And when I get to my jerk, I used to want my things to jerk. I'm gonna set my jerk off of there. And if you don't want them to be on 100, you can put nothing on there. If you want it to be more than 100, then you could put more than 100. But the acceleration is, I guess, how fast it's going. So um, on each one, and then my jerk, I had it on 8. I'm put my jerk on 0. Well, dang, you, I put my jerk on 1. One of these. And I put this down. They say you're gonna want some kind of jerk on it, so that's why I had it on 8. So you might want to try 8 out first before you try anything else. Usually these are down to 1.15. Oh, I put mine down on 5. I'm putting this one all the way down. All my stuff that I made, it was it was real decent and nice. Turned out something like this. That's one of the things I made out of the speeds that I have it up on right now. And I'm gonna turn this one all the way down as low as I can get it. So like on 80.5, I had that on to make that right there. But I'm gonna turn this all the way down. And it's gonna take a while. It's on 46.63 right now. 41, 39. And I'm going to bring it all the way down. Even past 20. Past 19, past 17, past 15. I'm going to bring it all the way down. Okay, it's 5.0. Okay, and this is 14. Bring that all the way down. 5.0. Bring this one all the way down. 5.0. Okay. And that was the steppers. Okay. So go back to control. Go back to main. Pair. Set offset. Says right here, home XYZ first. So store setting. Restore. Fail safe. Load setting. Go back to main. Go to prepare. Push auto home. Make sure that's okay. Okay. It says homing failed, printer halted. Please reset. Now, when you get something like that, again, you have to turn it off because that's how you reset it. Unless you can reset it with a button or whatever. Some of them you can press a button and it'll reset. And you wait for a while because the settings basically aren't a setting to make anything. So you turn it back on. Okay. And you want to go to prepare. And then you want to go to here, here, and you want to go all the way down to move a 0.1 mm. And it's on a 0, 0. So you come out of there. And then you press auto home again, see where it's at. And it's not doing anything wrong. Push set home offset. 3D printer is ready. Now it says homing failed, printer halted, please reset. So you turn that off and you wait for a good while. And you turn the printer on. Okay. And you want to go through these settings again. You want to push auto home again. See if it does anything. If not, home set offset. Printer is ready. Press it again. I want to turn it off because it's at a halted. And you don't want to get frustrated. It's not your fault, and it's not the printer's fault. The printer is not going to work at that speed. Okay, so I'm gonna go to main. You want to go to prepare. Then you're at the main. You want to disable your steppers. And then you want to go to set home offset. And if it says XYZ first, home XYZ first, you're okay. You want to go to prepare, temp, auto tip on, and you want to do the maximum to down. And you want to put that on 37 for the maximum. And it was on 210. You want to turn this down to the minimum to, now it has to be below 30, okay? So put it on 14. And then the factor, you want to turn this factor up to a 1 point. Then you want to go here to PID/P, and you want to put that on a 1 point. You want to bring it all the way down to 1 point. Okay. 1.00. Okay. Now the PID/I is at a 1.88. You want to leave that one alone. Now the PID-D is on a 96.23. You want to come down. So I'm going to bring this all the way down to like a 70. And usually I bring it all the way down to like a 1 point as well. Bring it all the way down to a 70. Not 77, not 72, not 71, 70.00. And it's at a plus sign, not a negativity. Okay. So I got to bring it back up. 70.00 plus sign. And I'm going to leave the plasma configuration on both preheat alone. And then I'm going to place this nozzle on 55. And it goes to 14. Place this bed on 64. Place the fan speed on 6. Okay. So your nozzle should be on 14, bed should be on 64. The fan speed should be on 6, and you should have it on auto on. Now you go here, you go to store setting. You go here, load setting. Restore fail safe. And then you want to go to main. After you go to main, you want to go to prepare. Set home offset. And it says still home XYZ first. So you go to prepare. And then you want to do a cool down. And as that is cooling down, you want to press that again and go to control. Initial EEPROM. Store setting. You want to go back to main. Then you want to go to prepare. You want to push set home offset again and see what that says. And it still says home XYZ first. So you want to go to info, none. You want to go to prepare. You want to go to auto home. Okay, now that leveled off. Okay, so after you do that, you want to level your corners. And that's up underneath prepare. So you're going to level your corners. And you want to make sure all your corners are like a space up, off the board. Okay, so then you hit next point. And you want to see that space right there. If you don't see that space right there, then you want to take it and level them. Mine are already all leveled. And some people take a sheet and they put it up underneath there and they level them that way. And then press your next. I'm going to show you with the sheet. or the sheet. If you can't place it up underneath there, they say it needs to come up some. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is go back, go to Control, go to Main, Prepare, go to Move, and the first one is X. That one is a plus. See how that moves? It's moving over that way, okay? As I said, mine was already leveled. So I'm going to move it right in the middle. And the middle for me is 121.6. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this back and I'm going to put it on Y. And I'm going to come all the way down to move, to the last one. Now, my move is on it's on plus 116.00. So I'm going to move it up. And as you see, the board is coming up this way. It's coming toward me. Okay? But I don't want that. So I wanted my board like in the middle. And in the middle, it's at a 124.8. Press that. Come out of that. Go down to to Z. And then go all the way down to move. Now my Z is on 0. Okay? So I'm going to put my Z on a plus. And you see this moving up this way? See it moving up? See it adjusting? Okay. Well, now I'm going to adjust mine where that paper should go right past that. Go right under it. Okay, where it's not so sticky. So I put my paper there, okay, and I'm going to put it down. At a 0.7, it can move. A 0.1 is like barely moving. So I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. 2, it kind of moves. Raise it up a little bit to a 3. It really moves, okay? And that should be it. So I'm going to hit this button. It's at a 1.4. Okay, it really moves. I'm going to put it down to a 3. Okay, so I'm going to hit this button at a point plus 0.3. I'm going to hit this button. Okay. Now remember where you went, okay? You went to the axis, okay? You want to move your axis. But this one is axis Z, okay? When you want to move it up and down, okay? So I'm going to come out of here. And then I'm going to go back to prepare, okay? So you can see where I went to. Move axis, okay? And there it is. Move X, move Y, and move Z. Now, we didn't move the last one, and that's the extruder, okay? Now, we're going to see what this one does. This extruder, it plays a little bit with the board, okay? If you do it this way, the board is moving, as you see. Which way? Board is moving that way, a little bit up, a little bit, and it's like to conditioning itself and it's leveling itself at 24.3. Still can move your paper over. Still looks like it's kind of in the middle at 24.3. Move it a little bit more. Okay. At 34.4, still looks like it's in the middle a little bit. Still can kind of move this real good. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at 32.4. Okay. Then after that, I'm gonna come out of here. Okay, because all of this is prepared. And I'm gonna take it to auto home. Now, after I took it to auto home, it says home XYZ first, right? Take it back. You don't want to print anything. You want to go to prepare, set home offset, and that's applied. Then you want to hit it again and go to prepare. And then you want to go to disable steppers. And then you want to go to, you don't want to change fulfillment unless you really want to, okay? And that's taking this fulfillment right here out of here. And then you're going to put some new fulfillment in, okay? So if you want to change fulfillment, you go down to change fulfillment and you hit that, okay? And that will come out. Okay, then you want to go back to level corners. So you go and make sure every level is okay, how you set it. And by me setting that middle part, okay, now you see how the difference is. This came all the way up to the front this time. It's more up to the front since I leveled it that way. And that's more over to the left. And that's in the middle part, but a little bit is further up and not basically in the middle. This right here, this paper cannot go under. So what you do next is you already put it up, right? Over that. So if you already set these, if this is already set, you shouldn't have to touch that because that's set. And you shouldn't have to touch that anymore because that's set. So you want to go to your next point. And then you want to go back. And then you want to go to control. And then you want to store setting. You want to load setting. And you want to restore fail safe. Okay. After you do that, you want to go back to your main. Prepare. Auto home. Make sure everything is okay. Now remember, you heard that little noise earlier. It's not in there anymore, and neither should yours. If that noise is in there, it's not set right at all. Okay? So, offset is applied. You want to go back to prepare. And offset is already applied. Okay? And next, you want to go to your print and see how well you did. So I'm just going to print something little. Uh, hmm. Just see how well I did. Okay, and it's heating right now, and yours should be heating. And excuse me for a minute, I'm going to get a Band-Aid. Okay, it's still heating. Because remember the heat sets that we put it on? So don't touch anything. Don't touch the board. Don't touch up underneath there because all of that is going to be hot. Okay? All right. And you're going to watch it heat up. It's at 200 now, matching the 200. Okay, if you can see, it is making the square. Okay? Make sure you will have a lot of fulfillment. Don't be like me with this little bitty fulfillment. Because I'm going to tell you, when you run out of fulfillment, everything stops. And I'm going to show you. Okay? And then you're gonna have to wait till you buy fulfillment, and then it's gonna have to what? It's your print. It's gonna have to wait until the fulfillment comes in. Now I told you all, and I took you all through all my steps of how to actually prepare your 3D printer to make the objects you want to make. With these settings, your object should be able to stick to the board and not move. If your objects are not sticking to the board, you don't put glue on your board at all. Okay? What you have to do is buy a whole new board. Okay? And I'm not talking about the whole thing. I'm going to show you. Because I had to buy a whole new board. Okay? And the board comes in like this. And then on the back is a peel. You peel the old board off and you put the new board on. Okay? And you get as many boards as you want. Okay? So if you get two, you get two. If you get one, you get one. If you get three, you get three. However many you pay for, that's how many you're going to get. And it depends on what kind of 3D printer you do have. Because now they make it like this 3D printer comes with a board and it comes with a magnetic board. So, for example, that board will be placed down there, and the magnetic board will be placed on top. When you get finished with your print, you let it cool down, and you take the magnetic board and you shake everything off of it. And that's what the magnetic board does. So, as you see, my print is not hanging on to this part at all. My print is coming down on the board. And as it comes down on the board, it is being printed out. For you not to have like stuff on your board, when you get a new board like this one, this is the same 3D printer I've been using. My board is just freshly bought. What you scrape it off with does matter, okay? And I hate scraping mine off, um, basically because it's harder to get off when the board is fresh. When you pick up the stuff, it's like still sticking to the board, and you have to kind of push it, really kind of hard up underneath there. It's not like your old board where everything comes off easily. And that's why I'm thinking about getting the magnetic board. And with the magnetic board, if I get that one, I'll show you what I mean when you have to let it cool down and just shake it off. Now I've watched a lot of 3D um, videos, 3D print videos, and mostly some of them I was concerned about, and that was because they were putting glue on their board, things I never heard of on their board, when all they had to do was just buy a brand new board, okay? And I'm not trying to dog anybody out. A lot of times they say, well, glue is only $15. These boards you can get, you don't have to get the whole thing, but sometimes the boards cost from $5 all the way up to 30, $45, $50, $60. And as much glue as you're gonna get to hold those things down all the time, you can just go ahead and get a new board. Go to a friend and say, hey, let me borrow $45. And let me buy $20 and put it with the rest of your money, and you'll have a new board. And look into the magnetic board, because really you can keep your old board on there and then get the magnetic board and place it on top and use that. And the magnetic board is from $45 to $125. It depends on where you go get it. If you get it from Amazon, it's $45. And the magnetic board can be much more expensive at Amazon, mainly because it depends on the person that's actually you're purchasing it from. So, like I said, make sure you always have fulfillment, because if you don't have fulfillment, your piece will not come out right. And um, I know you're thinking, well, it's probably better that way. You can get two colors. Yes, that's true. Because a lot of times when I run out of fulfillment and I have to switch into another fulfillment, sometimes I'll grab a different color. And people, do not forget your fulfillment heat box. What the heat box does is it heats up your fulfillment. So then when you put it on here, then you'll have a better piece coming out. I have a better square. And you won't see all those strings coming out. You put this on, you put it on for like, when you put this on, 28 is good. You can put it up to 55. You bring it down to 40, 53, 52. You can bring it back up to 55. When you press these two buttons together, nothing happens. And it depends on which box you get. Okay. And this one is PVC, the how hot and everything. And then it's for 30 minutes. 55. So like 55, 30 with the one up to a 31. And it gets real hot in here. You don't want to put your hand in here. And your fulfillment hangs out right here. Or either it can hang out up here, whichever place you want. And right here, usually, it's a spout right here. And it keeps the heat in. And your fulfillment is right here. So I can find my spout. I probably jumped off because I made a mistake and I dropped it. Now, when you want to turn it off, bring that 55 all the way down, because actually it's being heated for 55 minutes. Hour. Okay. When it's like that, it goes off. Okay. And you see how thin it is, how pretty it's coming out. That means the block is going to be real thick. And the setting isn't even there yet. Okay? And it's printing off that CD, that card, that SD card. So it's printing off the SD card, and it's not even there yet, and it's working and building up. It's like a thin layer, and you could see the line where it is, but what I'm saying, it's not thick, so it has a long way to print. Okay, and what you do, just in case you don't get another yield sign to tell you how thick your fulfillment is, see that hole? You have to have this, okay? This tells you how thick your fulfillment should be for your 3D printer, okay? In case you don't get one, save this one and put it somewhere where um, where you won't lose it, because you always want to make sure you have the right setting for your 3D printer, okay? You want to make sure it's not too thick or not too thin. It's just right. It fits that hole just right. And it doesn't matter which side you put it in, just as long as it's not too thick or not too thin. And see, I say it's good to have a new one all the time, because this paper wears out and the hole gets bigger, okay, as you keep using. Okay. Now you want to make sure that your print is just how that print is. Okay. You want to make sure. And I'm going to bring this closer to it. And I'm going to shed some light on there. Okay. Let's see. See how thin it is and how it's moving? Yours should be doing the same thing. It should be a nice, thin, thick layer. Okay. And you see it's not sticking. It's not pulling off the board at all. If yours get like that, your board is old and you want to change your board up. And your board could get old within the first month you buy it. And what I did was I kept I kept it as clean as I could before I could. It took me about 2 or 3 months to buy a new board. I just bought one last week. And it took me 2 or 3 months to really get this board. And you can also buy, see the phone things on there where you can scan them. You can buy them that way too. And this is a JG Maker printer. Now, if you did your settings just the way I asked you to, And if you couldn't get through this right here, take your printer and really read upon it and really study it and work with your settings, okay? And buy a book instead of going through YouTube right now for settings because YouTube, their settings are like kind of off a little bit. Because they have to put that glue on the board. You might want to go ahead and buy a book on 3D printing or either take a class on 3D printing like I did. If you go ahead and take that class on 3D printing, you'll be just like I am. And you'll be able to make any print. Any print. And I'm gonna bring you closer in depth. Let me see. And I hope you've seen that 3D print. I hope you've seen that 3D print. So if you've seen that 3D print, and if you go through the settings that I just took you through, it'll be an ease and a breeze. I'm not trying to, dog anybody's printing out or 3D print out about how they do their 3D printer, but I'm just trying to make shortcut corners about a lot of stuff that the old techs have been doing versus the new tech. Sorry, but go ahead and don't use that glue. Try to, get a new board instead. I'm a friendly person, not a mean person. But if you go ahead and get that new board, you'll be okay. So this is Tanya, and um, with the 3D print, and it's still going. Remember the settings I took you on? And with the next print, we are going to do something different, okay? There are going to be whole new settings that I'm going to take you through, new steps I'm going to take you through, and everything. And you didn't mess up your needle, by the way. If you did, it was not with me because I haven't changed my needle yet. That's the same needle that I had since I got this. The only thing I had to change was my board. And I know I shouldn't have had to change my board. But like I said, I've been listening to them, thinking that my class is wrong and everything. Because they're the new techs. And that's what happens when you have a 3D printer and you listen to a old-fashioned tech on everything. You have to buy new stuff all the time. And as you see, that fulfillment is not catching up on that needle. See? That fulfillment is not on that needle like that. Now, if your fulfillment keeps going on your needle, you need to replace your needle because your needle is damaged. That means it's really, your needle is kind of opened at the bottom instead of closed up. I don't know how it gets like that. And if you put your settings like I did with the X, Y, and a Z and an extruder, then everything should come out evenly, both sides, all four corners. One side should not be bigger than the other unless your board is not set right. If your board is not set right at the bottom, then that's a reason why your sides are not even. My sides are even, all four corners. We're going to do the bottom part next time. And if you take the bottom part off all the way, make sure everything stays intact. If your springs are underneath that twist cord, that means your springs are not placed right. Your springs should be in between the boards, the top board, and the bottom board. Your springs should not be where the screws are. So if your springs are there, your springs are not adjust. Your board is not built right, and you need to let them know that. Contact them and let them know that the springs were not done correctly. And maybe you can have a repairman come out and put them in correctly. Excuse me. But 3D printing, it's not boring. If you like the job or if you like, making 3D prints, it's not boring. I'm gonna show you how it comes out. You don't have enough and everything, what it should do. Oh, and I know you're thinking, what is she doing? Fingernail polish. Well, I am a female, so I do my nails, and I do other people's nails if they need their nails done. So, but we're not on that subject. We're on a 3D print right now, and later on, I have a video on how I do nails. I guess. Now you see over here how it's a little bit thicker line. That's because the print is a lot thicker right now. So the J with the JG Maker, I like it because it tells you exactly where you are on your print. And if you study your prints, you'll know how long it's going to take. Okay? And that's why they say it's good to have like 5 printers because at least you could make 5 things at one time. And one gentleman has like 15 printers. And some people make double prints on their board. That means or triple or 4 prints on their board. So instead of one square be made, it'll be 4 squares be made on the board. Now I would have to show you how to do that. I know how to do that. When you're in the making of your prints and with the on the computer, instead of making one print, one square, you make 4 squares and you set them where they won't touch each other. And you set them where you have enough room on your board to print. So it'll be 2 back there and 2 up front. 4 prints. Okay? Now, it did that because guess what? I ran out of fulfillment. It says right here, wait for fulfillment to unload because I ran out. Okay, so my fulfillment that I have in here is going to unload and it's going to wait for me to put more fulfillment in. Now, if you have a row of fulfillment, what you do is you take the fulfillment and you insert it, okay? And it will continue the job. This is how much fulfillment is left when it comes out, the JG Banker, okay? Now, if you don't have any fulfillment left whatsoever, this ends your job, okay? So you're going to push this button. And it takes you all the way to where what? They're waiting for fulfillment to load, okay? So it's not going to do anything. So the only thing you can do is wait, and it says continue or or purge more. So that means that you're gonna pull that fulfillment in there. Okay, that's what your um 3D printer is assuming. So on that, like I said, the only thing I can say is turn your printer off. When you get your fulfillment, hope that your printer, your 3D printer, has the memory like mine and will come back and say continue. Okay? If not, you have to pull that print off, or you can leave that print on and continue your print. Okay? And it'll probably start over like a fresh print, but at least you'll already have started another one. Okay? Well, I thank you very much. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to put this close up to how that print is. Okay. And that is the print. And you see it's a thick block. It's not thin. Okay. The thinner you get it is the more of the setting it is. And the thicker you get it is the less of the setting you got. Okay. So it's the thickness and then the thinness. Meaning you'll be able to smush this in, but the kind of setting that I took you with, this is so thick. And you notice I'm not touching the border or anything because this is completely hot. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. Okay. That is off. And then you're like, I hope she get her print back. We're going to see. That's why I'm going to let it sit here for a while. And then I'm going to turn it back on for you. And those who have a JG printer maker or JG maker printer will know if it will go back to their setting or not, right? So I'm going to turn this back on. And it's that 3D printer right now. And it says resume print or stop print. Okay. So it will resume your print or stop the print if you like. I know it's like, I hope you can see it. But it says resume print or stop print. So it'll resume it or stop it. So I'm going to turn this back off. And this ends our session of how to do 3D printing. I thank you for your time and you have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye.